My name's Dana. This is my son, Jacob. I have been a patient at Sequoia for a number of years for issues that I had. So when Jacob was diagnosed with Crohn's disease, it was a pretty serious thing. He, probably spring of his junior year in high school, he started to have a lot of stomach pain, and we at first thought it was kind of just due to some anxiety and things like that, but all through the summer he was starting to lose weight, and the pain kept springing up, and he was saying it was pretty severe. And so it took us a while to get appointments with specialists and things like that. So eventually we did have a bunch of procedures done, and with a GI doctor, gastrointestinal doctor, and he was diagnosed with Crohn's disease right before school started in August. And our choice was pretty stark. They wanted to put him on a pharmaceutical drug, and if that didn't work, they wanted to put him on steroids. They wanted him to go on 6 weeks of a liquid diet, either Ensure or Boost, just to get the calories in him, but according to them, to give his digestive system a break with just having liquids. And because of my experience with Sequoia and my good experience for my own health, I felt strongly that it would make sense to see if something alternative would work for Jacob before we went with kind of the standard medical treatment for Crohn's disease. And so I did have to convince my husband to give it a try, because obviously he was really concerned with Jacob's health as well. But he had seen the difference that it had made for me. So he did agree to give it a try with Dr. Schilling, and if Jacob proceeded to continue to get sick and lose weight, we would have to readjust. The first big change was that dairy and sugar were a huge problem for Jacob, and what the GI doctor was going to put him on would have made him worse. Dr. Schilling found that he had a huge overgrowth of candida, which the GI doctor didn't say anything about. So it was just, there was a lot of hope that just his general wellness was going to be helped, not just that he has these symptoms with a disease label, but that he can actually get his weight back and all of that. So really what happened was Jacob still had to agree to be on more of a liquid diet for a long time. So he went to high school every day, big tough thing, and just had these liquid shakes, and he did it. One of the things he didn't like about what the GI doctor was going to have him do was he would have had to have a blood test every 2 weeks to make sure his kidneys and liver weren't damaged by the pharmaceutical drug they asked him to take. So we did not, they filled the prescriptions and we never got them filled. We did consult with the GI doctor and tell them that we were going to do the liquid diet. We asked for permission to use something else, and she agreed. We didn't really say anything about not picking up the pharmaceutical drugs, because that was still a backup if this didn't work. But I don't know how long it took for him to start to feel better, but there were good enough signs that literally between late August and November, when basketball was going to start, this was varsity basketball for his senior year, that if he had been in the condition he was in August, he wouldn't have been able to play. And he was able to play at a high level by November, which was huge after getting a diagnosis like Crohn's disease. So we're just super, super thankful that there's a way to look at the body that's about your total health, not just kind of like your parts, and we're just going to fix this part. And I think just overall, I hope Jake feels this way, that he feels good, not just in his digestive system, but just functionally all over. So how much more can you be thankful when you get a diagnosis like that? And you could be, my understanding is with Crohn's disease, that you're on pharmaceutical drugs for the rest of your life. You're up and down. You have times of great pain and flare-ups, they call them, and often you end up with surgical procedures to remove parts of your intestine. Yeah, and possibly get to the point where you have is it a colostomy bag? Yeah. We're hoping with the holistic view that Dr. Schilling has about health, that he's taught us about, that Jacob will never have to do that. That's huge. How can we be more thankful? I don't know.
And I don't know, progress. She talked about progress at the beginning being, well, she didn't really get on that. For me, I would say, right at the beginning, it's not like a perfect fix, because you have to work at it for a while. But for me, I noticed after about 3 weeks, and it was pretty hard 3 weeks because you still felt the same, but the results are slowly changing your body. So it's not like you're directly, like everything's gonna be washed away right away. Your body is, for me, it had experienced so many years of just issues. There's backed up or like scars or stuff like that need to go away, and those things take time to heal. So I would say, if this is not like an instant, like this is not, I don't know. There's, the health fads that come along every couple years that like this is gonna help you become an NBA player or something, like eat some kind of tea or something. But this is about you taking ownership of your health and moving forward.
Yeah, and I think what you're trying to say is it takes time.
Yeah.
And sometimes, especially when you're paying all the medical bills yourself, you can get frustrated and want to quit because the body takes a while to get back to the state of health that you're looking for. But for a young person, it took him 3 months to get back to playing basketball. My health, it took a little bit longer, but that was like 50 years of stuff, and his was 16 or 17 years. So
Your health, don't you tell me.
yeah. So 3 months is a pretty good deal.